Hey folks, welcome. Bookshelf mounting a grid of Linux boxes. That's the thumbnail for this update. I'm trying to reach out to new folks and to do that to be more accessible by being as specific as I can about what the content is in each particular video. So that's what this one's mostly going to be about. I mean, the T2 Tile project is about reinventing computing, and it has, consequences from hardware to software to artificial life to humans and society, but that's a little bit of a longer story. So I'm going to try to stick to this. We're going to have a video. I'm mostly a software person, not a electrical engineer, not a mechanical engineer, not a furniture designer, interior decorator, or any of these things. I'm a total amateur at all of that, so be prepared. So we're going to start by watching a little 90-second demo of the kind of things that we could do with this grid of Linux boxes, and then we'll circle back around to introduce the main video, and as always, we'll start with the computing team creed. First, be robust, then as correct as possible, and as efficient as necessary. Okay, this is the demo, a Eugene time-lapse. All right, that was Eugene. It's the standard laws of physics that come with the tiles at the moment. That weird shape was the two lotuses, 38 T2 tiles, each one running Linux. It's the same that you can see in this thumbnail for the video. So again, let me just warn you, what you're going to see here maybe isn't pretty, trigger warnings for incompetence. But, I do software, I do this other stuff because that's what it seems to be necessary to advance the T2 Tile project, which is about actually building a real thing, not just in simulation, but to explore the issues from physics to philosophy. So let's take a look at the video. So we're going to have to raise this whole thing up. Basically, from here to the wall is 6 feet, and that would be enough if we could continue the support pipe as long as we could go up some extensions that would screw into the bookshelf. One small one and one big one. Oh, great. What do you say, huh? Do. All right. 32 by 25. Maybe we will cut this piece away. Didn't even really burn it too bad. That's good. That's good for a meat cut. At 7 3/8. 24 and a half. Exactly how we're going to cut that, I don't know. 3, 4, 5. Now, we got to figure out how to make this diagonal cut. I think we should use the Makita instead of the... Been a while. It's just a hair over an inch, so there's no way that's not... I'm doing a little off angle, but we're through the bottom. I messed up the entry pretty bad here, but wow, wish I was nowhere near. And for a penny, that was exceptionally terrible. Oh man. So now I want to fire up the jointer and try to even this out. Alright, well, I cleaned it up a little bit on the jointer, but my unbelievably lame excuse for not showing you me cleaning it up on the jointer was I'm actually short on electrical outlets, and I've got the Fuji on the battery replacement thing because that's its main lot in life. At least I thought far enough ahead to make these non-critical. These are the non-critical measurements. Crank down to 1100 RPM, assuming this plywood counts as softwood. That is not deep enough. Damn it. And we made a super mess of it. Now we've got a piece of wood. Clean on the back, clean enough on the front. Okay, that's bad. So we got the two shelves, the two risers I'm calling them, more or less lined up by the thing that's going to be against the wall. And the most important thing is that the holes line up, and they are not even close. So I have no idea how I did that, but I am skilled in the art of screwing up measurements. Said he with his eye, I'm a very bad whittler. I whittled the chip till it smells about. Now I whittled a hole in it, how will it float? So he threw it away and cut his throat. But when he saw his head was gone, he whittled another and put that on. There's John Shorty. Jeez. So, just for the record, there's the jointer. It's going to go a little bit deep. I think that seems fine for... Too bad, considering the standards of this operation. So we messed up. We always mess up. but I don't think it's fatal, at least not yet. This one is going to be the right. Extra crappy looking stuff is going to be against the wall. On the left side, we're going to open up both of these holes so that we can lift the pipe out. Closer. This is the operating position for the rod, as close to the bookcase. So the shelves will support when we push on it. This is the maintenance position when we want to get in behind. All right, but why don't we just buzz off. So it's going to have to be one of these long pieces, a big wrench and a lockjaw. It's holed in on both ends with not enough clearance. It is aggravating. So I'm gonna have to cut this in place. You think I gotta be able to just wail on it hard enough. I'm gonna take a go at it with the saber saw, and I'm gonna unplug the camera. That worked, although it's quite a bit slower going than I thought with this blade, but it did get through. What a mess. That was incredibly terrible. That's like a super ton better. Screws in to here and to there, and then complete this mission by raising the bar. Yeah. All right. Now, wow, that's pretty high. Nobody ever said raising the bar was going to be easy. Well, it doesn't seem strong. I should clamp. Wouldn't hurt to get another angle iron in the future. The next step theoretically is bringing back the grid. Boy, you cannot even see that. All right, we're gonna have to move the camera back or put on the shorter lens, fixed focal length, so we'd have to get lucky. Not the most elegant go, but there it is. And it would be something about like that, coming down this way and down this way, and at its lowest down here. That is almost just barely. So we might be able to get the whole grid from this shot. We'll see. The bar has been raised. So there it was. Here is the picture of what it looks like, you know, from further back, where you see the Fuji X-T4 there as well. You know, there's a ton of problems with this. It doesn't actually lay that well against the bookshelves. Part of that, I think, is due to the bookshelves themselves not exactly being lined up with each other. Things could be tweaked in various ways. In addition, you know, going to have to pull at least a few more shelves worth of books out to clear, get some clearance behind there. So part of the idea of this is that, you know, we can get like, you know, some big slow fans that we would stick on the edges of the bookcases behind it to suck air out, so it would pull air in through the face of the grid and then send it out the sides, and that might be a cooling solution, which I am increasingly concerned about as I see what 38 Linux boxes actually feels like. It's kind of toasty. So step by step, that is the development process that we have for this update. Last time it was, you know, here's where we were at. We're still at the same number of tiles. All the stuff is still the same, except the next step was rethink locations. I mean, it was looking like maybe we were going to need to go to a whole, you know, rent an office space or something like that. But now we raised the bar. I think the camera will be able to get a half decent shot on it. That's good. Going forward, I still want to actually build Lotus 3, and I have some kind of confidence that it might actually be able to stay there and not have the whole thing get disassembled again. All right, that's the development story. So very quickly, the 2022 project goal for T2, the T2 tile project, is to redo the event engine in a much more robust fashion, and part of that idea was to redo the mechanism whereby adjacent tiles compete to see who can have the next event, and to, instead of doing a long complicated protocol with packets being sent back and forth and resolving races between them, that maybe we could use this ring oscillator idea that we've talked about in the last couple of updates. Now I want to show something really quick here. Well, okay, this is the time. This is what it's about. This is 2 weeks. So let's take a look at it and see. I mean, there's not much to see. It's because it's all still very low level stuff, but you'll see. Okay, so here we've got 3 tiles that are running. We've seen this sort of thing before, but in this particular case, these tiles are not actually connected at the moment. We have this one has a power line, power injector of its own. These two over here are sharing a power injector, even though, in fact, you know, this whole thing is really just coming from a Y splitter over here. But the point is that allows these things to be connected or unconnected. And so now let's connect a couple of these guys. We'll connect the northwest of this is the Keymaster, the white one. Let's hook it up to its northwest, like that. Okay, and we start seeing update GDRO NE21, NE20, NE21. What that is the keymaster and its northeast, which is the southwest to the back, have started to do a ring oscillator between them. And so they're passing a 0 around, and then when it gets back, it's getting flipped to a 1, so that's going around, and so forth. Now, it's going incredibly slow because all of this stuff is slowed down for debugging purposes. The important point for me is that it's very robust. So if we pull the thing out, all right, there we go. So now we pulled it out. There's a bunch of other messages that come and go through there as well, because still the old event engine is still running at the moment as I'm working on this stuff. But the GDRO ones are the ones that were things overheating. It does a lot of that with all the lights on. But let's plug it in again and see it pick right back up. All right, and boom, right there. It's right back to passing the shared clock around. But now the cool thing is, the thing that really is new for me is, let's hook up another one. There we go. So now we get East, but East 2 and East 3, if you see that. So what's going on is, each of these pairwise tile pairs has a shared ring oscillator going just between them. That's why it's 2, because there's 2 tiles involved. But now, in addition, there's a 3-way shared clock going around this whole corner, going, from the keymaster to the guy to his northeast, to the guy to his southeast, to the guy who's his west, and back around. And that's the East 3 one that's also happening simultaneously. And again, these are all very robust. We can pull them out, we can plug them back in. It's happening at a lower level than the whole packet exchange that the stuff is built on. And so, all right, so that's really mostly what I wanted to see. We could start up a Eugene here as well, because why not? But it's not our point for the moment. All right, so there's the demo. And don't forget about this. This is the circuit, the schematic diagram for the circuit board that is on the back of each T2 tile that ties the whole thing together. But what I want to call your attention to is, this is one of the intertile connectors, the ITCs. And, there are 16 pins, so VDD, that's power, there's 3 power, GND, that's ground, there's 3 grounds, that's 6 pins. We've got a bunch more. And, so what are they? Well, the RX and TX ready, those 4 pins are the things that are actually sending the packet signals back and forth that the whole thing is built on. But there's also these lock pins that, if you dig way back in the T2 tile project archives, you can find discussions of what these were being used for, but I never really got it to work, and I never really got it to work reliably, and I never really got it to work in a way that would play along with the packet transfers, which have all of these delays due to buffering. So I have repurposed these pins to do the generalized distributed ring oscillator. So the Eiger lock and the IREC lock, they are actually doing the 4-stroke cycling, well, in 4-stroke in the case of going across the pair, and then 4-stroke all the way around the ring, using the other ones like that. So there's a chance. And again, I don't know that any of this is really going to end up working out in the end, but it is in the spirit of, be, UDP-ish. Don't assume that there's perfect transit down below, but you build up a ring. Now, one of the problems with ring oscillators, in fact, is that it doesn't guarantee that there's only one edge between a 1 and a 0 going around. If you have a ring oscillator with lots and lots of stages, you could have an island of 1 that's cycling around with an island of 0s behind it, and another island of 1 and another island of 0s, and they would just keep going around and around as 2 separate things. And if you were counting on the edges between 0 and 1 and 1 and 0 as being a mark of uniqueness, something in the grid, that wouldn't be true. And so that's a real problem in distributed systems in general. We're going to avoid that. We're going to mitigate it anyway, because in each step, we're deliberately slightly randomizing the amount of delay time through the stage, how long you get to hold the token when it's your turn. And in that case, I think you could do some theory, probably pretty easy, to show that the islands will collapse into each other rather quickly. And once we've gotten to a single ring, a single island of all ones to all zeros to all ones, it'll stay that way unless there's further, errors and disruption in the system, in which case, that's what self-stabilizing systems is for. So that's the current status of that. I just wanted to, get it marked down. Okay, and finally, outreach. So in the last episode, VJ Manon submitted the science fiction story to Asimov's science fiction magazine. It's under review. My feeling at this point, we're waiting at least probably another 3 weeks and maybe even a couple of months beyond that. My feeling is most likely they're going to pass. And the reason that they're probably going to pass is it's not accessible enough. This is like back to the thumbnails and making everything more accessible. It's a problem I have. So we'll see. I mean, the story from the first few readers that I got feedback from, the story has gotten tons more accessible, a lot easier to understand what's going on, but still, it's packed pretty dense with computer stuff and all kinds of crazy things. So I'm thinking they'll probably pass. We'll find out. All right. And the Living Computation Foundation, for folks that don't know, is backing the entire T2 project, the T2 tile project, and a bunch of other stuff that's in the broader mission of living computation. So the second half, 2021 second half summary is now out. There it is under the news item, and I get depressed. I get down sometimes that I feel like I'm not making progress fast enough, but, you look at it over 6 months, it's like a ton of stuff that actually got done, so that's good. And we've got some new Living Computation Foundation nerds. If you don't know, for a $5 donation to the foundation, which is a nonprofit, you can get your own Living Computation Foundation nerd number, and so we have a bunch of them, including a core of folks who are actually recurring donors, which I didn't expect at all. And it's like, I don't thank you guys enough, and well, I don't thank y'all enough, and so thank you. It makes a huge difference. And we've got a couple of new ones, one that I've owed a thank you mail for a while, and another one more recently. And the most recent one was actually a pretty substantial contribution, like 3 digits, specifically calling out Computing Up, the Computing Up podcast, which I super appreciated. So that's the Computing Up homepage. In fact, we're due out to have another one, yesterday, but it's probably going to come out today or tomorrow, depending on when I get some sleep. So that is it. My goals for next time is to let's welcome our new nerds, do it or die, and then to try to take the generalized distributed ring oscillator, the Ringo idea that I just took a brief little look at, and take it up to user space so that we can at least see it working. I'd like to build Lotus 3 on the grid, and once again, always remind myself, have some fun. You do too. Thanks so much for coming. I hope to see you next time.